Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children, and ghouls and goblins of all ages. Big Kev's World, Big Kev here is back with another video. And before we get started, I want you guys to smash that bell for all notifications. Where you see that subscribe thing, and you've seen my video and it has the little Jason hockey mask, I want you to click on that. All right. Let's get some more subscribers on this bitch here. So just got back from the gym, clanging and banging, getting my stuff on. Because at 40 something years old, you have to be a little bit more on the ball of things as far as you're gonna be like physically and everything. So I thought I would start this video off with something. I'm just trying to get this thing adjusted so I got this headband. Before we get started, I got this headband on Amazon. They do Marvel, they do DC, they also do customized headbands. Which I will be getting a customized headband for the Big Kev's World show here in the next couple of weeks. So might be getting some merch. When I was a Kev's Point of View, I had that one merch shirt. I mean, it's possible that this could happen, but the reason why for the video and for the title, you guys see it, WWE is telling a beautiful story here. And I'm not talking about Cody's story. I'm not talking about Roman's story. I'm not talking about The Rock's. I'm not talking about Seth freaking Rollins. I'm talking about this is something that everybody is talking about. It started January the 1st, first Monday of first Raw of the new year. And it started with something big. The Rock comes out to a thunderous ovation. We see Jinder Mahal in there. And The Rock says afterwards, do you want to sit at a booth? Do I want to sit at a bar? Or should I sit at the head of the table? And the crowd went nuts. Seeds were planted right there. So then the Royal Rumble starts up. Last two competitors in the ring are Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Cody throws Punk out of the ropes. Cody stands there, making his choice known that he's going to challenge Roman Reigns again at WrestleMania 40 for the WWE Universal Championship. But then, that SmackDown, we have an issue. The Rock's finally come out and he's admitted it. And the admission is that him and Cody had a plan. They met up with each other. The plan was at Birmingham, Alabama. He was going to introduce The Rock. Rock came out to a thunderous ovation. And Cody gives him a hug. They whisper into the ear. But then Rock looks at him and Cody gives him this god-awful stare. And I noticed that stare when it happened. And I'm glad that The Rock mentioned it. You can go watch The Rock's promos all over YouTube, and it's all over TikTok. It's all over Facebook, Instagram that he's got on there. I would show it, but it's got some WWE clips on there, and I don't want to get banned or have this video blocked or anything like that. So I will say this. We're in for a good storyline here. The Rock said it best last night on SmackDown. This has probably been the best that professional wrestling's been in a long time. Because we all know, as creators on here, we've all had to deal with the John Cena era and how we would make videos hating on WWE, hating on John Cena, and that's all we would do. But now, I give kudos to Triple H. I give kudos to the WWE. I give kudos to The Rock, Roman Reigns, Seth, and Cody, because they are telling an absolutely beautiful story here. There's a lot of Easter eggs in these stories. What I'm trying to say is there's some Easter eggs when it comes to The Rock. And if you guys noticed, Roman Reigns grabbed the mic from him last night. He grabbed the mic like this, grabbed The Rock's arm, and said, I want you to acknowledge me. And you saw the hesitation in The Rock's eyes. There was hesitation there. But he did say, I acknowledge you as my tribal chief. Now, people have made some stories out here that The Rock is a secret agent. Rock and Cody got this plan that The Rock and Roman are going to lose the WrestleMania match. They're going to lose that tag match. The Rock's going to come down. He's going to screw Roman Reigns, and this is going to create a match between The Rock and Roman Reigns for next year or later down this year. The Rock's contract does specifically entail that he has not just one match, but he has a couple of matches on his deal that he did with TKO. So we don't know what's going to happen, but I see people fighting over this about Cody and then fighting this over about The Rock and over here about this. I'm just sitting there like, look, I'm a guy who just loves professional wrestling, period. I am on this wave of ride with them. I'm not against Cody. I'm not against The Rock. I'm not against Roman Reigns. I'm not against Seth Rollins. I'm not a big, huge fan of Seth Rollins. He does dress like a goof wearing his wife's clothing. I do agree with that. At the same time, we're telling a story here. And I know everybody likes to say, Cody's going to finish his story. He's going to finish his story. Think about it this way. The marketing has been great here. ESPN's been talking about it. Now The Rock's got that guy from Busted Open Radio. They got them in the mix now. People are just talking about this on TikTok. They're talking about it on Facebook. They're talking about it here on YouTube. They're talking about it on X, aka Twitter. So everywhere you go, they're talking about this specifically. You know, a guy like my brother, who's 4 years older than me, watched wrestling like I did as a kid. Hasn't really been interested in wrestling in a very long time. Now, my own brother is watching now. He's tuning in because he's interested about what they're doing with this story. And that tells me a lot when your own flesh and blood who doesn't watch it anymore, who still watches the old school, the golden era, which is one of my favorite eras because I love the old 80s era, early 90s. But today, everybody's talking about it. Everybody has got an opinion on this whole thing, and that's what makes this fantastic. It's what makes this great. That's what makes this whole thing fucking great, ladies and gentlemen. This whole storyline with The Rock, Cody, them stealing this, everything else. They're telling a story. This is WrestleMania 40. 40-year anniversary of WrestleMania. Obviously, they're going to try to make this the biggest one they can possibly do. And whether we like Dwayne Johnson or whether we agree with him or whether we think that, you know what, you got some fans who think, wow, the dude went to Hollywood and he said, fuck you to us. Then he comes back, says he's never going to leave again. And then he does. And then he comes back again, leaves again, and comes back again. However, no matter what you say about The Rock, and I'm not a big Mission accomplished. Yes, Stephen Rose, that's exactly where I was going with this. Mission accomplished. Because ever since Triple H took over creative in late 2022, things with WWE has been a lot better. I know there's some things that they can still work on. And there's some people who are not very good on the mic, Becky Lynch, and a few others. But The Rock said it best last night on SmackDown. This is a good time to be a wrestling fan. And I want to give some props to AEW here. And I know I've done some little hate to them before. That's because I'm not a big fan of Tony Khan, because I feel like Tony Khan's is a egotistical piece of shit. But what I will say about it is that AEW's talking. They got people talking too, because tomorrow night is the last ever match you're going to see the Icon Sting in. Period. Last time we're going to see Sting in a wrestling ring. And it's a very big moment. People are talking about that. So, you know, then they have this whole Vince scandal, and everybody's been talking about Vince and Brock and John Laurinaitis and people power. They've been talking about all of that. So everything that's been going around, whether it's positive or negative, could be either good. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. Any publicity is good publicity. That's always been my motto with this. Even if it's a good or bad, publicity is there. Now, think about it this way. The WWE video game 2K24 comes out next week. And what is it about? WrestleMania 40, but the greatest WrestleMania matches on the story, on the showcase. But it's also about finishing your own story. It's about finishing your own story. And when you finish your own story, ladies and gentlemen, that is what this is about. They knew what they were doing when they had The Rock come out earlier this year before the Rumble, saying that he wanted to be at the head of the table. They knew what they were doing when they had Cody win his second straight Royal Rumble match, the fourth guy in history in the WWE to ever do it, next to Hogan, Stone Cold, and Shawn Michaels. That's a pretty big damn company, if you ask me. They knew what they were doing. The seeds were planted. They got people talking. They knew if Cody came out there and says, well, I want this title, but I'm not going to do it at WrestleMania, but I'm talking to a guy who knows you very well. And a crowd ate up that stare down between The Rock and Roman Reigns. But they knew that wrestling fans were going to be, who wants to see Cody win. They knew that the Cody fans were going to come on here and bitch and complain and moan and cry. And they knew, and The Rock's a businessman. The Rock's just a smart guy. He owns $7 Productions. He owns a football league. He's now a TKO board member holder. The Rock's not a dumb guy. He saw the writing on the wall. He saw how the fans reacted, and he pivoted. Smart move, because a heel Rock is absolutely a savage. Go watch the promos in Salt Lake City. Go watch the promo he did last night in Arizona in SmackDown, and watch the one where he's sitting out there in the air talking all this shit about Cody, Seth, and everyone else. A heel Rock is good for business. The Rock's entertaining. What are you? Some of you fans are like, oh, he came over. He stole from Cody Rhodes. He stole from Cody Rhodes. I am here to project one thing to you. I know that we all talked about it on here in the past video, that we all thought that Roman Reigns was going to beat Hogan's record. I don't think that's happening now. I'm going to tell you why. As a wrestling fan, I'm excited to see where they go with this, and they may do it. I don't know. But I honestly think we're going to see The Rock and Roman Reigns lose that tag match, because The Rock laid this challenge down. He says, if you beat us, there will be no outside interference from the bloodline. No Paul Heyman, no Solo Sikoa, no Jimmy Uso. And it would be one-on-one between Cody and Roman. But has The Rock really joined the bloodline? Because the last 2 weeks he's been going like this. When they go like this, he's been going like this. And some people here on YouTube and some people on TikTok have pointed it out that promo in Salt Lake City, he came out there and he was like, I'm going to make sure personally that you do not walk out at WrestleMania. Now, it looked like on camera he was talking to Cody Rhodes, but if you go back and watch, he was looking at pointing at Roman Reigns. I think we still will get Roman versus The Rock, but we're leading to something bigger. What's going on right now is going to be something bigger, and I actually am excited. I'm looking forward to it. I think what Triple H and them have done has been good storytelling. The thing that they've been working on, the bloodline, for years now, the bloodline storyline has been really an impactful thing. It's been a part of SmackDown. It's been a staple of WWE SmackDown for a long time. So now you're going into this situation differently, because we're all guilty. We all speculated, what's going to happen here and everything like that. Now, I will tell the guy from Busted Open Radio, Dave, what's his face? Not everybody has been booing The Rock in the crowd, because if you go out there, you see him in Salt Lake, you see him in Phoenix, you saw him in Arizona last night. Anytime he comes out, that crowd electrifies, they erupt. Because The Rock is a legend. Now, he's not in the WWE Hall of Fame yet, but the man is a bona fide Hall of Famer. He's a bona fide legend. So automatically, he knows what's good for us. He knows what's good for the WWE. He knows what's good for Roman Reigns. He knows what's good for Cody Rhodes. And I guarantee you, at WrestleMania 40, everybody's going to get what they want. I think at the end of the night, everybody's going to be happy. That's just my prediction. I think everybody's going to be happy. Now, you got some people out here who are doing Raw and SmackDown reviews who haven't been watching the product in years, but they're just, they say what they want to say about it. Honestly, I've been keeping up with wrestling ever since I was a kid, and even during the bad times, and we had the bad times, ladies and gentlemen, the New Generation era, the John Cena era, so we went through a lot of stuff as wrestling fans. We went through the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I've decided to stay around because that's what my dad did before he passed away. Even though he didn't like what he saw, he stood by and still watched it until the day he died. Wrestling's in my blood. Stories about what my family has done with wrestling, how my grandfather on my mom's side got into a fight with a Japanese wrestler, Johto. How I trained and got into the ring for a while. It did my thing. Wrestling's in my blood. And I'm a sucker for good story. And I'm like that for movies too. If it's got a good storyline and you got me hooked, I'm hooked, line, and sinkered. I don't even care about what else is going on at WrestleMania 40. And I don't. I wouldn't care if Sylvester Stallone showed up. As much as everybody knows that I'm a big Hulk Hogan and Undertaker fan, I wouldn't even care if they showed up for this. I'm invested now in what's going to happen between The Rock, Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, and Cody Rhodes. I love how they are doing this whole thing, because now they got all of us talking about it, fighting about it. This person saying this, that person saying that. ESPN's talking about it. Fox Sports is talking about it. TMZ's talking about it. Busted Open Radio's talking about it. It's on X. It's on TikTok. It's on Facebook. It's on everywhere. Everybody is talking about it. When The Rock was the Grand Marshal for the Daytona 500 race last month in February, during the press conference, they were asking him questions about it then. This is what the business needs to be about. Good storytelling. And now you got Stone Cold who's been working out every single day. He's getting jacked. He's looking good. Could Stone Cold be a part of WrestleMania 40? And could Stone Cold be a part of this storyline? I don't know. I hope so. I would love for Stone Cold to be a special guest referee of this tag match. Or maybe versus Cody versus Roman Reigns. I think that would be great to see something like that. To see one more interaction between The Rock and Stone Cold would be priceless. And some of you younger fans, you didn't get to see that, what we got to see. But let me tell you, between those two individuals right there, there was some funny entertainment, some of the best stuff you would see on television. Professional wrestling is getting hot again. And that's a great thing, because I did a video years ago thinking I didn't know where WWE would be, where wrestling would be at this time. It got that bad. I didn't know. I thought maybe, wow, this is going to end. We're going to be bad. This is going to be horrible. But it's proven me wrong. And I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody calm your little panties down and get your tight wads out of the tightness of your butthole. Everything is going to be good at WrestleMania 40. I guarantee you that. And you're a fan of Roman Reigns, you're going to get what you want. You're a fan of Cody, you're a Cody crybaby, whatever it is, you're going to get what you want. You're a fan of The Rock, you're going to get what you want. I believe in that. And I wouldn't say that if I didn't believe it. Now, could WWE pivot and do something exactly opposite that we've never seen before? Yeah, it could. But let's break down something about The Rock. Anytime The Rock has ever been in a stable, nation, the corporation, or the corporate ministry, it never ends well. The Rock's always been his own entity. The Rock doesn't even come out with the bloodline with their music. He comes out to his own self. He doesn't even dress their stuff. He's wearing those old Armani shirts. And I love those Armani shirts. I'm sorry. I do. I think it's cool. But there's a lot of, if you go back and watch some of these clips, they're telling you right in front of your face what's about to happen. You just have to open your eyes, clog your ears out, and actually sit back and enjoy the ride. Steven's going to enjoy the ride. I'm enjoying the ride. My older brother's enjoying the ride. Most people I talk to at work who are wrestling fans, they're enjoying this. That's what they're talking about in the break room. And I've been in my company for years now, and I never once heard them talk about this as much as they're talking about this right now. That should tell you the importance of what they're doing. And I think the storytelling is going to come out great. What Triple H has done with this company, he's brought it back from the dead. He's rised it up. Is there things that WWE can improve on? Absolutely. They're not the best in the world. It's not the best as it was back when we had the Monday Night Wars. I mean, that's just a special time. We probably will never, ever, ever get that again. But it's not fair to, in my opinion, it's not fair to go like, oh, well, this era is good, but it's not as good as the Cena era. Oh, it's not as good as the Ruthless Aggression era. It's not as good as the Attitude Era. It's not as good as the Golden Era. That's an unfair assessment. Unfair assessment. Because that would be like, was Tom Brady really better than Joe Montana and Dan Marino? I mean, he's got more rings. That means he should be the best, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that. Every era is different. Now, in basketball, a lot of younger guys now, they think LeBron is the greatest thing to ever lace a pair of sneakers. But if you go back in the 70s, you have some of my older cousins, they grew up with Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell and Kareem. So if I asked them, they would tell me that. My brother and I, we grew up with Michael Jordan. So that's why to us, Jordan was the greatest. It's the same thing in wrestling. Some people think Hogan was the greatest. Some people think Ric Flair was the greatest. Some people think Stone Cold was the greatest. But ladies and gentlemen, I will say this before I end this show. Sit back, get your popcorn ready. This show is going to be good at WrestleMania 40. I guarantee it.